All right, good. All right, great. So we have a list of questions that we have for you, Representative Dye and Representative Schmick. Our first question is, for Representative Dye, are you planning to introduce a bill in the next or any future legislative session that will close portions of the John Wayne Trail?
I'm here to listen and learn about the issue. I came in after the regular session, and so this issue was something that would have been a part of the agenda prior to my arrival in the legislature. So I'm coming up to speed, and I want to hear from the community and the stakeholders on the issue and really get a handle on where you're at.
Okay, Representative Joe Schmick, are you planning to introduce a bill in the next or any future legislative session that will close portions of the John Wayne Trail?
Well, I think we've all read the articles that would have been in the papers, and that's probably why everyone's here, and we have the interest that we do. I'm looking forward to a robust discussion of pros and cons and the problems thereof. There are definitely two sides to this issue. You've got the people who enjoy the trail and who use the trail, and then we have the side from the property owners. I'm getting to answer your question. Just let me a couple minutes.
Take your time.
Okay, thank you. Well, it's been 35 years since, just to give a little bit of history, 35 years ago, the old Milwaukee line pulled out, and at that time, the reversionary rights of the railroad, this land should have gone back to the property owners. It did not, because the trail drivers went to court, and they said this is a use that should be protected, and they won. I'm talking loud.
You want to use the mic?
Oh, sure.
It should be on.
That's fine. Thank you. Would you like me to start over? Yes.
Whatever you like, sir.
There's seating back here.
Would you like me to start over so everybody could hear? Would that be okay? Great. You read the newspaper articles. That's why you're here. And how we got to here, we all understand. We agree. We not agree, but here we are now. And the question is, what are we going to do from now on? How are we going to handle this? I was giving a brief little history of the trail 35 years ago. Old Milwaukee line, which this was, pulled out, and at that time, the trails people, they went to court because they had reversionary rights, meaning once the railroad left, the land should have gone back to the private property owners.
I think that's the purchase.
Please, we're just here to listen now.
I'm just trying to give a background so we all kind of know where we're at. And the trail owners went to court, trail users, and it's been claimed as a trail ever since that time. We've got 35 years of experience now behind us with the trail. There are issues from the property owners, trespassing, theft, scavenging, and people using the trail as entry into private property and off-going hunting. We're approaching hunting season, and that is happening. I would like to see us today, the purpose of all this is, where do we go from here? Because I would challenge the trail people, or people who use it and want to keep it left open. These are real issues, and what are we going to do about it? And to see if we can come to some agreement as we move forward. And that's my intent, and that's my purpose. We're going to have a robust discussion today, where I hope everybody will have a chance. And I hope, Mr. Chair, that everyone who wants a chance to talk will get a chance to speak.
Yes, sir.
Great. And that's all we can ask. I'm looking forward to the comments. You asked to answer your question now, because I was going to get back to that.
Thank you.
At this time, do I have plans? I would say, no, I don't. But I want to hear the discussion, and I want to hear what we're going to do, fix the problems and the challenges that are out there, and where do we go from here? And at that time, we'll decide.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, second question, would you instead consider sponsoring a bill that would partially fund the trail by at least bringing back ranger service to fight crime and litter, improve basic maintenance of the trail, rock removal, etc., and then study the trail usage over a 10 or 15-year period before closing it forever? You can go first, Representative Dodd.
Okay, Ted, I'd like to recognize Representative Tom Dent, who came over. Representative Dent is the representative for the majority of the trail. He represents Lincoln County, Grant County, and Kinnitas County. So basically, the trail transcends his entire legislative district.
I appreciate that.
And he actually was in the legislature during the discussions and would be a major key player in your program. So I just want to say that. And then secondly, to revisit your question, rumors of my knowledge and vast knowledge of this issue are largely over-exaggerated. And so, like Joe said, I'm going to go ahead and take the time to really listen carefully to everyone and their testimony here so that I can really get a comprehensive understanding of the people that are involved in the issue so that I can make a very, a very well thought out decision regarding the issue. But I really do think that you need to recognize Representative Dent, since the majority of the trail will trespass across his district. It does go across his district, and so he has that opportunity to really speak to the issue.
Great, we will. Thank you. Representative Schmick, would you, instead of sponsoring a bill that would partially fund the trail by at least bringing back ranger service, fight litter and crime, improve basic maintenance of the trail, and study trail usage over a 10-15-year period before closing it forever?
What I was going to wait kind of toward the end of the meeting, but here's my proposal at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I hope that we'll have some people who want the trail, and I'm hoping that there'll be some landowner people who own the land adjacent to the trail that will sit down and talk through these issues to come up with some recommendations to help us. The Parks Department, who I've talked to in Olympia, said that they would mediate those meetings, and I also will attend. I've offered to attend to those meetings too, so I can be fully informed. Like I said, I'm not going to plan on introducing legislation to close the trail until we hear from this committee, nor am I going to commit myself to sponsor a bill for improvements of the trail until we get the results of that committee.
Okay, thank you.
Fair enough?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Next question is for you. Why did you write a law that specifically defines the ranger position for the John Wayne Trail? Wouldn't this have been the first way to address the concerns of nearby property owners? See attached.
Like I said, as I addressed this before, we've all seen the paper, we've read the paper and the comments that I've made in the paper. We're here now, and we're going to work through this issue, make sure that everybody has input and stakeholders' inputs to rectify this, and we'll have a good plan going forward.
Good. Thank you, sir. All right, for Representative Dye, are you aware of the John Wayne Trail Riders' activities of a volunteer group to repair trail spending thousands of their dollars in their own donated labor hours? See attached. They've spent $20,000 in the attached. You'll see in the fourth paragraph. They've spent $20,000 of their own money. I've gotten a phone call that they're willing to spend another $30,000, and they've been doing this over the years. Are you aware of their activities?
I've had a little time to review my emails, and my question to you is, what portions of the trail did they focus on?
In the article that you read, it's a letter that they also sent you. They note that this was all spent on the section that you were proposing or
all one
closed. But it was in that section.
When I read it, I understood it to be the section that's been utilized more frequently and widely developed, but I'm just saying I don't have all the information. And so, like you and I talked, we encourage local communities to really focus on the features and assets that are in their communities and get the momentum going from the grassroots. And obviously you have a lot of enthusiasm for the Trestle, and when you and I talked, we talked about how Tico has a beautiful asset here, but we need to have, you know, the people that are involved in the land around the trestle to have buy-in and to have the enthusiasm of the entire community. Obviously, we have lots of enthusiasm one way or another, and so I encouraged you to do some fundraising and to really get the momentum going, and I still feel that you have such a huge opportunity in this community with the kind of people that you have here to do that. So, you know, in terms of the people that have already participated, you know that people are doing that on the west side and working on the trails that are already have been utilized and are developed. But Eastern Washington oftentimes gets kind of left out of the mix.
Representative Schmick, are you aware of the John Wayne Trail Riders activities of volunteer groups repair trail spending thousands of their own donated dollar and labor hours? See attached.
Yes, had a nice correspondence back and forth with the John Wayne Trail Riders. They've been pretty thorough in all the things that they have done as far as improvements to the trail. So yes, I am aware of that.
Question number 5, Representative Dye, what is the acreage and the value of the land that the state is giving away? Who will receive the most amount of lands? Does the state receive any payment for this land? Have conversations been held with the adjacent property owners to ensure they are even willing to take the property?
I'm not familiar enough with the issue, Ted. I
Okay.
wasn't in these conversations. It's really not my role.
Again, here we are today. We're going to go forward. We're going to see what's the future of the trail. We're going to have a group that's going to work on this together, and we'll come up with some answers. I think that pretty well answers that question.
Okay. Number 6, will the state easement allow a trail to come back at some time, or is it only for utility? Representative Schmick, since you're up.
I think that the intent of what we were after left those type of options open, and there was no hard and fast rule. But again, this group that I propose that we move ahead with, work and decide on these issues to give some guidance to us as legislators so that we can make good decisions moving ahead.
Representative Dye, do you know if it's a utility? Can it come back to be a trail at some point?
I haven't enough familiarity with the issue to know what its purposes are, but certainly you have a really good outline or a format to work with in order to detail the legalities of the issue so that everyone is protected under the same umbrella of law. Okay,
question number 7, Representative Schmick. Why did this not warrant a public hearing in the last session when so many other bills were sponsored? There's an attached list here of bills that you sponsored and it's actually missing a page.
I understand, and again, we're here now, and we're going to work ahead. Again, I propose we have a group, work together, that we determine what the future of the trail looks like from now on.
Representative Dye, why did this not warrant a public hearing in the last session when so many other sponsored bills did?
You know, I wasn't there at the time that this was introduced. I wasn't here when it was developed. I wasn't here when the stakeholders were discussing the issues with the legislative body, and so I really can't say whether it wasn't an issue that I was involved in.
Question number 8, will you hold public hearings in your district and across the state before you introduce a bill to close the state park or trail in the future? And you said you were going to work. Do you want to pass on that?
No, it's the same.
Okay, go ahead. No, that doesn't. Microphone doesn't work.
Okay. Again, I want to put together a group. It's going to take a look at this, and then from that point on, we will take a look and we'll have recommendations from that, and we'll go from there.
Okay. For both Representative Dye and Representative Schmick, why did you not inform TICO that you put into the state budget a proviso to close our trail when you attended our Slippery Gulch celebration this summer, about a month after the legislative session ended?
I will tell you, of all the years, frankly, that I've been a state legislature until Mr. Martin read about his track. Were you with Pete?
Oh, no, but I was very much involved.
Okay. Until that time, frankly, I didn't know anyone who'd ever been all the way across the state. And that's 8 years.